you enjoy your just overgrow? When I was a child, I had a dream of being a train driver. I can become one now. Then later on I wanted to be a pilot. I can do that too now. After that, I had dreams of being like a Steven Spielberg type of person. I'm not quite there yet, but give it time. What's your dreams? How's it doing? For some of you, it's buying that Ferrari or Porsche. Have you got one yet? For some, you do? Okay. Gesundheit. Now, Triple M is the most amazing thing. You can place yourself within it where you want. If you want it to be just to earn a little bit of extra money, you can do that. If it is to fulfill your dreams, you can do that. If it is to help your family, better your life, you can do that. And it's all through the help of the community. Now, when I first heard about Triple M from a really good friend, Ernest, who I must say, where are you, Ernest? Ernest? He's somewhere. Outside, smoking. I was like, oh no, man. Another scheme. Another thing. But what really got me is the fact that it's a community-driven opportunity, if you like. It's also not a business, so there's no boss. And it just completely made sense to me. It's just so simple. Have you ever given money to a friend? We all have. Someone who's in need. That's all we do in Triple M. We provide help, and then later on, we get help. In return for providing help, we earn 30% compound interest. So, it's really that simple. So I'll go into the detail, as soon as I figure out the clicker, about what Triple M is. But I want you to remember the basics. Remember your dreams, remember where you want to go with it, and the nice thing about it is you don't have to do this. Someone else will. It's really that simple. So let's get into this. People helping people. In this presentation I will cover what is MMM and a bit of the history, where it comes from. It's quite a unique history, but it's very open and transparent, and that's something I really like. The ideology of MMM, which is really, really important within Triple M. You need to understand and almost internalize what it is about. The world is run by the banks. If you go and have a look at the history of banks, that's quite an eye-opener. I don't think that banks started out the way they did. They were also just wanting to help people, but it's turned into a massive business. Now, when I say 30% compound, most people go, what? Do you know that we've been conditioned to go to school, to get a good matric, to go to varsity, to get a job, so that you can get a loan if you don't find yourself already in trouble? You know, the average American student, when he leaves varsity, is going to be working for 20 years to get out of debt. I don't think it's much different in South Africa. So the purpose of Triple M is to skip the debt, to skip the banks, and it works, and really well. So the goals, to help all the people in the world, and I can tell you, I've seen many of my friends whose lives have changed, including my own, of course, and my family, to spread money amongst people so that they can gain financial freedom. So there's no bank in the middle. I put my money in the bank, and they borrow it out to someone else. While I'm putting my money in the bank, they charge me for it. And then the other poor guy who's actually taking my money that I've put in, they also charge me. I had a friend a couple of years ago. He was like a junior financial creditors clerk or something at Standard Bank 8 or 10 years ago. He had a budget, a monthly budget of 8 million rands that he had to spend to either write off on debt or to chase someone, so he's basically got nothing left. 8 million rands. And then they sponsor sports, pay personnel, big buildings, and all kinds of things. The major thing with Triple M that I find that people struggle and they go, what, 30%? Where does that come from? Now, if I was to get help, I'll go into detail just now, from someone else, am I worried where that person got his money from? That person who pays me, am I only going to ask him where did you get that money? That's where the 30% comes from. Simple, really. Think about that. Creating a new, fair financial relationship amongst people. In many years ago, people would exchange stuff. It was quite fair amongst themselves. There wasn't someone in the middle. It's once again, this is what Triple M is about. Now, it's not a bank. It's important to remember that Triple M is not a business. It's not a bank. It's not a legal entity. It's not an investment. That is a key thing to remember. You do not invest money in Triple M. Do not use that word ever. It links people. I want to provide help because I'm either a really good person or I'm greedy and I want to earn 30%, and I'll tell you the greedy part within Triple M makes this machine too. Let's just be honest about it. So I want to provide help, and there's someone else who go, I'd like to get help. And I pay my money to that person, straight to that person. Once I've provided help, I can then get help, plus my 30%. Yeah. There's no promises or guarantees. This is important to remember. That person, that friend you borrowed the money to, did he pay it back to you? I relate it to a stokvel or a oorgooi. You're all familiar with the term. Now, the traditional stokvel in South Africa, it's quite a few years old. 12 guys, 10 guys that meet monthly, have a big party, they each put, let's say, 1,000 rand on the table. This month, it's your turn. Cheers. Next month, we have another party, we would put our 1,000 rands on the table again. It's your turn. Cheers. And so on and so forth. No interest though. But if one of the partners decided not to arrive, oops. You have to remember, and this is where Johnny rightfully put it, but I'd rather make you, I'd be open and honest with you than lie to you. And I'll go through the processes that protects Triple M from these things. But there's no guarantees. You've got to remember this. You're supposed to do this with spare money, not your savings. The money you've got next to your bed in the drawer. Some people seem to have 100,000 in there. It's their money. If that's your spare money, good. Yeah? Then you've got 100,000 rands worth of help that you can provide to someone else. In return, at the end of the month, once you've paid it over to someone else, you can go, I'd like to get my 100,000 rands back from the community with interest, which basically means 130. It's nice, eh? Is it starting to fall into place? Not really. Okay, we're better. It's a global community of financial aid and donation exchange. I explain it sometimes to some of my friends who go, Facebook? Yes. Instead of sharing conversations and finding friends that you didn't know as your friends on Facebook. Who's got friends like that? I've got hundreds. This one links people to each other. It's the same kind of platform, except there's no chitter-chatter and family pictures. Okay? It's a peer-to-peer system. So we become a community and we become friends. I get calls occasionally from people I don't know from a bar or so, wanting to know, how does this work? Can you help? Give me advice. I like to help them. Because next week, I go, I'd like to get help. And that person might be the person who's providing the help to me. It's a community. Brings people closer. It's not faceless at all. So we get to know each other on a completely different level. And of course, like I said, we pay the money directly to the account of another member. The system assigns rewards called Mavros. So if I was to say, I'd like to provide help for 1,000 rands, the money stays in my account at that moment in time. But the system gives me something called Mavros. It's an internal ticky tape, if you like. It's an internal currency. Thank you. So you would get 1,000 Mavro at that moment in time. It equates to rands. But from that moment, when you said, I'd like to provide help, your Mavro grows. The system works on trust. So it's going, okay, you promised you're going to give 1,000 rands, so we'll give you 1,000 Mavro in the system. The Mavro in itself is worth nothing. It's just a ticky tape. But it starts growing in interest. So 30% a month. Once you've paid over the amount to another person who said, I would like to get help, your Mavro equals the amount that you could then ask for in help. And someone else will pay you back in kind. Nice, eh? Quite simple, really. So, participants get help by transferring the money to each other. This is important to remember once again. It was the big appeal for me with Triple M because we've all heard of these schemes and these pyramids and these stuff that falls flat, where you pay money into a account and it grows miraculously. In Triple M, there's no A account. There's our accounts. We pay it over to each other. I giggle because you might have heard that the FSB, Financial Services Board, have investigated Triple M. They've gone to individual members' offices. In Krugersdorp, there's one, Rustenburg, there's Durban, there's a couple. And all those FSB detectives who went to go investigate signed up. Because why? It's a computer system. It's not even in South Africa. What are you investigating? A system that links peer-to-peer people who would like to provide help. You're going to lock me up because I want to help someone. Really? You should lock up the ambulance guy or the policeman or whatever. There was a Soweto rally, and before that, where was the Freedom Walk, the Financial Freedom Walk? I can't remember. The Sutu. And the police, the guys who were leading the procession, they all joined. I've got a couple of WhatsApp groups. I've got a good few coppers who are my friends. And they're doing really well with Triple M. Peer-to-peer. What do you do as an MMM partner? You offer, as I mentioned, to provide help for the amount of 1,000 rands. You get 1,000 Mavro in the system. You get 30% growth per month. Can you get that? Basically means your money doubles every 3 months. So if I was to put in 1,000 rands, by the end of the month I got 1,300. The month after that, I will get interest on 1,300. So it'll be about how much? Oh, I used a word I can't. Sharp guy. Of course, my manager said, you're not throwing cake at me. We cannot use the word interest because that pertains to investment. See, I'm covering my back. Growth. We get 30% growth in our Mavro. Okay. If you were to leave your 1,000 rand, anybody with a number, how much would it be by the end of the year? After 18 months, 100,000. That knocks the bank's socks off. That is why people will put money in the system and leave money in the system. Because we're greedy. I don't want to take my money out. I want to earn growth on my money. That's got you there. Investment. Okay, so there's more money in the system because we want growth on our money. There's more money flowing into it than going out. Really simple. And once again, when I get my 30% growth from other people who pay me, I don't care where they got the money. It's there. But then people go, ooh, okay, but you're going to be tapping the system empty when you pull out your R1,000,000 a month. I think there's people in the room earning a bit more than that a week. Not true. Why? Because what will I do with R1,000,000? I'm going to spend it, eh? I'm buying that Porsche. What are we? We're a community. So my money I've spent enables someone else to put the money back in the system. Duh. Makes sense, huh? Okay. So, how do I get my money? I go get help. Hello, I need help. I'm drowning here, I need R1,000,000. Or, 100 rand. And you will get help from members who are assigned to pay the money to you. Because there's other guys who are standing on the other side going, I want growth in my money, I want growth in my money. Let me pay someone, please. Because I can only get money once I've paid money. It's amazing. People want to put money into the system. So, as a note, the minimum you can put in is 100 rand. The maximum you can put into the system is $10,000. So where are we at the moment? It's about 350,000 rand. I'm kidding. At the rate we're falling, that's about 160,000 rands, right? The good news is, if you continue to provide help for those amounts, and again, I take it away. If you've got 160,000 rands in your bed, next to your bed in the little drawer, if you're a girl, I want to marry you right now. That is not your spare money, but okay, it's your money. You're that greedy and you want that growth, go for it. But the more you put in, the more you're allowed to put into the system as well. Okay. Mavro Road, 30%. Mavro points will start growing the moment you commit to provide help. If you do not provide help when the system says, you got to pay so and so, you get blocked forever. Because you lied. You weren't honest. You made a promise and you didn't keep it. You're not going to be part of our community. It's really that simple. It's about honesty. You've got to be honest. You've got 72 hours to fulfill your commitment. If you do not, you get blocked. Not your rands, your macro in the system. Starting to become clear as mud? A little bit? I see smiles. Okay. The sum and Mavro shows how much you can request to withdraw, to get help. Okay. Now there's registration bonuses. So if you're willing to provide help for more than certain amounts to donate to the community, you will get various bonuses. It'll show you in the system. This is only a first off amount when you get into the system. So if you were to provide help, I'm not sure of the exchange rate, I think it's about 850 rands currently, you will get a $20 bonus, and so on and so forth. Use your exchange rate calculators. Okay. Referral bonus. Now this is the part I love, because you see, I know people like Johnny. I'm not a networker at all. I might be looking okay on stage, but I'm actually sweating over here. I'm not a networker, I'm not a speaker, I'm not a presenter. But I know people who know people. Thank you, John. Thank you, Armando, and Tia, and Esther, and Ferdi, and a whole bunch of other nice people. And all their other people. And Esmery and Yusette, and I can go on. All my really good friends who really worked hard. I only signed up about 30 people. Now I'm sitting with, I think it's about 4,800, something in that line. It's not me. No, thank you. But it's not me. It's other people who are freaking greedy. I love it. Because what happens when you sign someone up, introduce someone, you get what they call a referral bonus of 10%. So, I'll leave it to people. Sorry, Johnny, I'm picking you in. But you can get back just now and take me out. I get someone like Johnny who goes, oh, do this thing. Put in your 100,000 rands. If I was to get someone to put in 100,000 rands, I get 10,000 rands as a referral bonus. And that 10,000 rand grows with 30%. Inviting new participants is not a prerequisite. You don't have to do this. You don't have to. If you feel shy about Triple M training, you don't have to do it. You can just put money into the system, let your Mavros grow, and ask to get help. Simple as that. So you don't have to walk around with a Triple M t-shirt or introduce people. If you don't want to, give me their names, I will. Because someone is going to at some stage. At this moment in time, the Triple M opportunity in South Africa is doubling every month to 6 weeks. If we're at 1 million now, work it out. How many people do you think will be signed up and will have joined Triple M by the end of the year? I see promising things, because when people start copycatting something, then you know you're doing well. I see it all over the place. I don't even want to mention the names of these other schemes, but they're starting to copycat Triple M. It's brilliant. But be careful of those things. Okay, just a fair warning. The benefits: 30% per month, you get a registration bonus, 10% referral bonus, and if you do a little video, once you've gotten help of the amount, but let's say you ask to get help for 100,000 rands, and you get paid, which you will because everybody does, and you make a little video and your face is on the video, which you then upload to YouTube and give the link to Triple M in your personal office, your PO personal office, you would get a 5% bonus on top of that. If you make a video without your face on it, in other words, a screen capture type thing with like Screencast-O-Matic or one of those kind of programs, then you will get a 3% bonus. So you get more. Why do they do that? Are you going to believe me? You're stupid. Would you believe everybody? You know what the easiest way for me to tell someone about Triple M? I give them the rundown, quite quick, and it's Stockfell, blah, blah, blah. And then I go have a look at the RSA-MMM website. Go have a look at the amount of people who testify. There's a testimonial section there, daily. It's about 500-600 people a day who testify there to say, I've received money, I got paid, this works, I bought a car, bought a house, I can help my kids to go to school, whatever. Don't believe me, believe the community. Okay. If you're a community member and you do get paid, you've got to write a letter of happiness, as they call it in any case. The system forces you to do so. If you don't, you also get kicked out. You've got to share. We're a community. Something good happens to you, you're going to tell your friends, right? We're all friends. Simple as that. And then, of course, there's additional bonuses, managers' bonuses, which, tell me, those are nice. When you start earning these, you can't help but wake up with a smile. Ask Vander. When I first met him, he was grumpy. He's doing so well, he almost had a heart attack the other day. Sorry, Vander, we're glad you're okay. This is literally the fact. When all these add up, and you've got no control over it anymore, it is absolutely lovely. It's hard work though. The WhatsApp groups, I should actually take the phone out of my pocket. It's starting to disturb me, it's vibrating my bum. There's so many WhatsApps happening and Skype group things and whatever. You work for those, trust me. Because you've got to help people. If you do decide to become a guider or manager, and remember, a guider manager is an interchangeable term. You're not a guider when you just introduce someone. You become a guider or a manager by doing a course through Triple M. And if you do, if they decide you're good enough to become a manager, you start earning those, the dreams come true. and quite quickly. I joined in May, like I said. In October, the business started exploding because of people like Johnny and various other factors. I checked my numbers before the meeting started, and there will be more after the meeting. That's what happens in this community. How does this work? How can I be sure this thing's going to be working? What makes it safe? What if everybody decides to take out the money now? Now, interestingly enough, let's just run through the history before I go there. MMM started in 1989 by Mr. Sergey Mavrodi. Please go and have a look at the documentary movie about him called Pyramid Media on YouTube. You'll find it there. It's about how he started it and his ideology and his whole thoughts about it. It also will show you how he got jailed in Russia for doing this. He wasn't jailed for Triple M. He was jailed for, what was it? Tax evasion, something ridiculous. He ended up with half the money, the Russian ruble, in his bank accounts because it worked. So again, go to the RSMMM website, read up on it. It's there. I don't know how it happened. I do actually, but I also moderate the Facebook page, the MMM South Africa Facebook page. Every now and then I love those people. But he was in jail. Yeah, so was Mandela. Normally the people who make a big change in this world are villainated. Is that even a word? That's the word. Vilified. That's the one. You're made out to be a criminal because you want to change the set norm. You want to change stuff. It's against the banks. We will have the whole of South Africa on board in Triple M by the end of this year. All because this guy decided in 1989 the system is unfair. The banks are taking our money and they're charging us for it. I'm giving them my money and they are charging me to have my money. Who listened to Pravesh? I call him Pravesh. With his financial speech the other day before yesterday. Pravin Gordon. They're taking away our pensions. How's that? Gimme. Taxes. That. This guy wants to change it, and he is. In 1994, he started a joint stock company after he had a computer company and supplied computer stocks, or computer parts and things to Russia. Go have a look. It's all in the history. In 2011, he started Triple M Community. But that one went a bit weird and wrong because what happened there is he had all the managers keep the money in their bank accounts. Wrong move. But he learned from all of that. And then he launched Triple M as it stands now. And currently there's millions and millions, more than 130 million members across the world. So it's not just in South Africa, it's changing the whole world, literally. And double up, we double up, like I said, 6 to 8 months, 6 to 8 weeks. It's incredible numbers. This safety factor, let me just go back one. Was it Sambo? Or was it only which one? What's at the back? Sambo. Who had a Sambo account? Oops. Did they say sorry when your money vanished? Did they have anything in place when they just folded? No. Banks have got commitments. They promise you they're whatever 5 or 7% per year if you've got a really good account. They have to commit and they have to pay you that money. In Triple M, it doesn't work that way. They can fluctuate to 30% if they wanted to. If the dwang hit the fan, for some reason everybody decided to get help at the same time, there's things built into Triple M. They can go into what they call a pause mode. So you will not get growth on your money at that stage. Again, that's why you should think carefully about the money you put into Triple M. It's a donation. Okay? Be careful. Be warned. They can also do a restart. In other words, all your growth is gone. It's built into the system. It's there. It's open, it's transparent, it's in the warnings. You know that little block you tick and you go, oh yeah, warnings, I've read it. If we do it ethically and you put money in there, that is not your savings, but that additional money. That money that you're going to be drinking out with your friends at the pub on a Friday night, for example. Or that one packet of cigarettes less over a couple of weeks. Those kind of money. Okay. I've heard of people selling their cars to put into this. Yes, everybody gets paid. I get chills, but okay. Let me not further unsell the whole thing. Just be aware of it, okay? Train your people well. When you tell someone about Triple M, be honest with them, be open with them. You're not selling them anything, you're giving them opportunity. Don't force anyone. You don't have to. We know it works. We can see it works. Everybody gets paid. It's there. It works. So train them, help them, stand by them. The rules: honesty, transparency, and cooperation. Okay. There's no secrets within Triple M. They can read it up. It's all there. Only one membership per person. Don't go, ooh, this is nice. He said 10% off a referral, so I will make myself a member of myself twice. So I can earn interest off myself. It doesn't work that way. We're not supposed to milk the system. You can only have one membership. And having said that, you'll hear of other Triple M platforms, like Global, and all kinds of other things. You're only allowed one membership per platform, or per platform, in Triple M. You can't have a membership here and one in the Philippines and wherever. Only one membership, full stop. Okay. No sharing back or Bitcoin accounts. In other words, you can't feel sorry for your grandma. Sign her up and then give the same bank account details. You can't do that, you'll get blocked. Also, an important one, you cannot, in the same family, provide help more. Let's say I signed up my mom and I've put in 10,000 rand. My mother is not allowed to do 20. Okay. She can only do the same or less. If you do that, they will find it out through IP addresses and all kinds of interesting Russian technology, scary stuff. They will find it out and they will split your accounts. Okay. So just play by the rules. No stacking with partners, as I just mentioned. And charring. No charring members. You cannot char anybody. You're not allowed to charge someone when you help them. Now in South Africa we've got a unique situation because many people don't have access to computers. Help them, by all means. But you're not allowed to charge them. You're making money from them in any case. Remember, referral bonus? You will get blocked. People like myself and Werner will make sure of it. That's not in the spirit of Triple M. It's there to help people, not to... And you can't give the wrong information. You must give the correct cell phone number, correct bank details. When you sign up, check, and double check. I find it all the time when people go, ooh, I put in my wrong email. Please make sure that you put in the right cell phone number, the right email address, and the right bank details when you join. Okay? Half the problems of what we're having in the system will be sorted. The summary of Triple M benefits. 30% per month when you provide help. You get a registration bonus depending on how much you commit to provide help. You get a referral bonus when you introduce other people. And I'd like you to introduce other people. Tell them about it. At the very least. And we're helping each other. And you get a bonus for the video after getting help. Either 3 or 5%. And then additional bonuses for the managers. We try and send out as many of these, when there's managers batches as they call, or managers courses, we try and send out as many of these as we can. I'd like everybody in this room to become managers. Why would I want that? Because once you become a manager, you fully understand what Triple M is about. How it works, why it works, and what the ideology is. Those are the kind of people who need to be out there to spread the word of Triple M. They're the guys who sign up the detectives on the FS group. Because we understand what it is about. To conclude, it's global and widespread. It's growing daily all over the world, in more than 100 countries. Founded by Mr. Sergi Mavrodi. Great respect for the guy. He lives in a little flat somewhere. Nobody knows where. You can imagine the Rothschilds and all those guys are hunting him. He doesn't want anything but to revolutionize the financial system. Have a look at his weekly news updates. The fastest community, growing community of people in the world. And this is seriously true. There's no joining fees. Absolutely free, it doesn't cost you a cent, you get your own personal office, there's no admin or handling fees, and there's no monthly contributions. If you decide, I would like to provide help, you don't have to do it monthly, you can do it once off. Ironically, you don't even have to provide help if you don't want to. What? You can sign up people and earn that way. It would kind of be stupid if you're going to try and sign up someone that's, try this thing that works. Oh, how much have you put in? Do nothing. It's not going to work really well. But there's no, you have to. Okay. And there's no yearly fees, of course. So in other words, no bank fees. So what are you waiting for? Be part of the community. Be your own boss. How's that day job looking now? You know, ironically, for myself, I would just like to conclude on a personal note. In 1988, my dad died of leukemia. I was in Johannesburg General Hospital in May. And my parting words to my father was, I will look after my mom and my sister. Forget about being a train driver, a pilot, or whatever. I could not do that until a couple of months ago. That is what Triple M does. Thank you very much.
Youngster, hey, 100 plus, man. But loving every minute of it. And my cell phone number, 082-339-5191. If you need to see me, book an appointment, book a session. It's really cool. I love inviting people to my home and having a chit chat. I see cities over here, Roy, they were at my house after the last time I spoke, and we had a chance to interface with each other. I see Daryl over there, in fact, Ben as well. Everybody has come around to my place, and it's just good to talk. It's good to chat. Have you ever found this? I phoned one lady the other day, her name was Dorothy. Dorothy was supposed to pay me, I think it was 50,000 or 75,000 rand. And I phoned and say, hey Dorothy, this is Wendell from MMM. Dorothy, she went berserk. She went, Wendell, I'm going to pay you. She was more excited to pay me. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Sure. So that's the reaction I get when I speak to people in MMM. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, we don't have sound, but for the next session, I want you to have a look at what's happening in that video behind me. This is truly the end of money as we know it. In order for us to survive in this world, we need money. Whether it's money to pay for something in a restaurant, whether it's to barter, whether it's to exchange on our stock markets, in markets, money, drug deals. Hey, you need money for that too, right? Okay. So everywhere we see money, we see people interacting with it. But the banks are the biggest bank robbers of all. And the banks are parasitic by nature. I'm not afraid to say it. Banks are parasitic by nature. They steal our money, right? Whether it's interest fees, right? And it's the one thing that they can do blindly to us. They can rob us absolutely blindly. It's something called inflation. And it is totally parasitic. But you agree that we come from a nation where we are forced, and as I made mention earlier, we are programmed in a certain way to do things. We got to get up every morning, we got to go to a day job, and we got to come back, and the cycle repeats itself over and over and over again. And eventually we simply become zombies, right? Come on, we got to get out of that mindset. Nonetheless, as I've been speaking, this video is continuing, and there's money, and there's money, and there's money. But Bitcoin is the end of money as we all know it. For your notes, I'd like you to write down the following video. It is called Bitcoin, the end of money as we know it. Please do yourself a favor. And if you can, get the actual video, get the actual documentary. It's an absolute eye-opener into where Bitcoin has started, where it is right now, and of course, where it is going to. You'll be pleasantly surprised by it. My talk is also going to cover quite a bit on my experience. It will cover my technical overview. It will also go ahead and cover how you can start to participate and participate safely as well. I think that's key. Nonetheless, we have ourselves a perfect opportunity right now to go ahead and leverage something so new. All right. Now, when studying economics, there's something called the Rogers bell curve. And the Rogers bell curve starts out very, very slow, and then, whoa, it goes all the way up and then comes all the way down. In the very beginning of this Rogers bell curve, and you can actually go and Google Rogers bell curve, you have at the very beginning of this curve something called the early adopters. You consider yourselves the early adopters of MMM, right? But also consider yourselves the early adopters of Bitcoin. Now, here's one fact about the early adopters. The early adopters have a very small window period to make that adoption become profitable for them. What am I saying? Try adopting something very early, and you'll find that the investment opportunity on that early onset will give you a better financial edge. Make sense? So the fact that you adopt something early gives you such power in the fact that you get to learn about something new, you get to experience it, and in turn, you get to obviously share with it. Never before have I seen so much sharing in this community. All right. The presentation, in terms of what you see behind me, has got quite a few facts, right? But I find these facts sometimes very, very boring. But for content's sake, I'd like to go through it very quickly with you. Again, just email me for the presentation. I'll be more than happy to send any of you the presentation. Did you take down my email address earlier? All right. It's Bitcoin and Platinum, and it's Platinum with 2 T's. Why Platinum? Platinum is my surname. Plat is my surname. I added that I include it. Oh. Clever. Right. All right, everybody. I'd like to quickly give you some facts about Bitcoin, and I'd like you to write these 5 facts down. First and foremost, no government owns Bitcoin. No bank owns Bitcoin. No corporation owns Bitcoin. In other words, based on just that, Bitcoin has no jurisdiction in terms of tax or in terms of VAT. That deserves a round of applause. Right. So the next statement I'd like you to write down is the following fact, that Bitcoin is the world's first global decentralized currency. All right? In other words, if no government, no country, no monarchy owns Bitcoin, then who in fact does own Bitcoin? Here's the cool part. It's the people who use Bitcoin. Right? So, Bitcoin, in its purest form, is very similar to the philosophy of MMM. You read the ideology of MMM, right? They want to destroy the banks that are complete parasites and steal our money in ways we don't even know. And Bitcoin has done the same thing. They've literally put money back in the hands of the people. So, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is money for the people, by the people. Where we heard that before? Okay. Now, here's an interesting fact. So, much like a bank transaction, how does a Bitcoin transaction get verified? The people who run the Bitcoin network are people like you and myself. These billions and billions of computers worldwide verify transactions every single second of the day. So the combined effort of people makes Bitcoin transactions possible. Those billions and billions of computers far outshine mere bank servers. So we have an exceptionally powerful network. Now, someone had come out with a slogan, a motto in Latin for Bitcoin. The slogan goes something like this. I don't know if you can see it on that coin. It's Veritas et Vires. It's very simple. It's there's strength in numbers. Are you with me? Isn't it so true for our MMM community as well? That there's definitely strength in numbers too, hey? Cool. Now, guys, again, I'm not going to even go through these slides. I'll be insulting your intelligence. That's so damn boring. I hate that. Come, let's get to the fun stuff. Let's get to the fun stuff. Now, has anybody heard of something called Google before? Why are you laughing? Come on. Okay. You've heard of Google before. To some degree, do you trust Google? Yeah, it's a cool search engine, right? For your homework, you can try this. Everything I'm going to show you in the next session is something that I needed to go through myself. And again, I can only speak from my own experience. So here goes. Step number one. When you get to Google in your spare time, I want you to type in 2 words. I want you to type in exchange rates. Okay? And as soon as you type in exchange rates, Google's got this really cool little app. Right? Let's maybe zoom in a little bit. And in this little app, it goes ahead and it gives you what the South African rand is to the US dollar. Anybody want to gather quickly what $1 US is to a rand? 16 how much? 16. Okay. Depends which exchange you're on. All right. Now, I asked myself this question in 2009. I asked the following question. I had to send my daughter to Argentina. She plays hockey. So, as a father, you have to make sure the expenses are covered, make sure there's spending, make sure there's all of that. And when I went to Google to quickly check what an exchange rate was, this was my first aha moment when it came to Bitcoin. Check this out. I asked myself the following question. Why in Google, when I see the entire world's fiat currencies, I'll explain what fiat is, why among all the world's fiat currencies did Google bother to put Bitcoin there as well? Are you with me? So I thought to myself, I know more or less all the currencies, but what is this thing called Bitcoin? So I go to Bitcoin. And remember in 2009 when I did this, I go ahead and I type in 1 next to Bitcoin. When I did it, it was 1,300 rand. Right? I then want you to have a look at the following. 1 Bitcoin is the equivalent of nearly 7,000 rand. Now that reaction, it's either or I get all of those reactions every time I show people this. But it's a cool reaction. You know why I like the reaction? The reaction says, oh, so that means Bitcoin is a tradable commodity? Hell yes, it sure is. Right? In other words, it is so powerful that it is more expensive than a US dollar, a pound, and a euro put together. Right? So remember, if you still think Bitcoin is a fad and it's been a fad, remember this has been going since 2007, right? And it's only getting stronger. So imagine my surprise in 2009 when I checked, hey, 1,300. For me, that was expensive. Now I look at the trend these days and I'm saying to myself, I am glad that I started at that bottom end of the Rogers bell curve, the early adopters. right? We are still there, everyone. In South Africa, we're still part of that early adoption stage. It's going to rise, it's going to hit a peak, and then it will go down and fade. That part on the other side, you don't want to be there. Early adopters, the ones on the other side are called laggards. So I refuse to be a laggard, okay? I don't want to lag behind. Make sure I'm part of it.
Who we are, our identity is defined by how much money you've got. Is that really who you are? It's not. So when Sergio Mavrodi saw this getting off the rail kind of thing happening in society, he figured if we can eradicate and get rid of the money thing, where money is not a problem, what will people have to do? They have to become more of who they are. Isn't that amazing? So what would you give? All you are. And then what would you get? More than what you are. Because what we give is what we get, right? Now there's an old saying, there's a scripture says it somewhere. When I saw the MMM presentation, that's what crossed my mind. And that's why I decided to do it. It's extremely simple. It states like, give. What must you do? Give. And it shall be given to you. What will be given to you? Whatever you give. So for all those challenging people, when you give challenges, what do you get? Isn't that a good thing? What you give, what you get. And for whatever you give, people will give back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over, will they give it to your bosom. So isn't it awesome? Here we can give money, lots of it. And the more you give, the more they allow you to give. And the more you give, the more they allow you to give. What will happen? The more you will. That's what this community is all about. Hey, what is it all about for every human being on this planet? We all want to be treated fairly and justly and correct. Now, if people don't judge you anymore by your education or your status because of your financial situation, because they've got enough, all of a sudden it's about your personality and your character, isn't it? That's the ideology, to create a fair and a just financial system. That's what it's all about, nothing else. Okay? Where everybody helps everybody. When you park at Pick n Pay or wherever, and you actually give the parking attendant 5 rands for the fact that he stood in the sun, because nobody steals cars anymore today. And if they steal the car, he doesn't stop them, he just stood there for the 5 rand. Isn't that a fact as well? But we give them the 5 rand anyway, because he stood in the sun. Else, I don't know why we give them the 5 rand, but we do. That's what we do as human beings. Now we can help people. Eventually, they won't want to stand in the sun, because they've got enough money. That's what will happen eventually. Will it unite the people in South Africa? It will. The people that's currently into burglavage will find something else to do, because they won't be needed. I'm quite looking forward to the day when my windows is clear and there's no more. Looks like I'm in a prison. Good. So, what is MMM? MMM is not a bank. It's not a business. Is that important to know? Yes. What are we? We are a community of people helping people. That's it. If somebody has to get serious and sit here today and there's a doctor in the room, what would he do spontaneously and naturally? I tell you, if you sign here that you're going to pay me, I will see if you're alive. You won't do that. You'll automatically help him. Isn't that what we do as human beings? That's what we are. That's what MMM stands for. To promote more of us. To be real, to be human, to be humane, and what it's all about. Isn't that what we want to belong to? Some place you can feel safe. Some place you can be all you are. Okay? MMM is not a bank. It's not an investment. Does your money grow in MMM? No, your money doesn't grow at all. The way I like to also explain it is, if I go to a shop now and I buy a packet of seeds, carrot seeds, because I like to plant carrots in my garden, I've got a little garden, so I like fresh carrot juice. Anybody else like it? Fresh carrot juice is nice. So I like to plant the stuff, take it out, so I want it as fresh as possible. Doesn't taste good. When I buy the packet of seeds for 5 rand or 6 rand, I don't know how much it is, And I go home and I plant the seeds and they grow. Eventually there's quite a few carrots, am I right? If I would sell those carrots, would I get more than what I paid for them? What grew? Did my money grow or did the carrots grow? Here, when you help somebody else, you get rewarded with Navros. And they grow. So, the fact is, there is no central bank account. So nowhere do you ever pay a third party. You pay somebody directly. For those people who saw Esme just now when she did the provide help or the get help, people were allocated to pay her directly. So that means if you're part of the system, it's fair, it's just, and it works. Okay? You don't pay a third party. Because third parties, what do? Disappear with it.
I can change your life. One of the stories that got me, really, if you haven't seen the YouTube video, is Werner's story. So I'd like to round off with asking Werner to share his story with us.
Hi guys. I joined Triple M the end of April last year. I was involved with many other businesses trying to make ends meet, and things were not going well. Like Phil was saying, we were driving in an old bashed up car. One day we actually went to a presentation for one of the other businesses that we did, and we were involved in a car accident. And the car was bashed up and didn't have insurance or whatever. So we were driving around with this bashed up car going to presentations. And one night I was looking on the internet on Facebook and whatever for opportunities. And I got this ad. I clicked on it and I said, what's this? Something weird. Something weird grabbed my attention, but I didn't know what it was. It looked interesting. I wanted to know what this thing was. So I clicked on it, I joined because it was free. I didn't have money to join, so I said free, so I joined. Then, when we were going to presentations, we were doing presentations in Soweto for this other stuff, I heard that they're going to have a presentation at a school in Soweto. So, my friends here, Martin is on here, Martin, myself, Harry and his wife went to a presentation in Soweto. And that's when I decided, wow, this is something I want to do. It was actually, that is Philomeno's first presentation they did. I did not have, at that stage, I didn't have the 100 rand to put into Triple M. At that stage, I didn't have 10 rand in my bank account to buy bread. So what I did was, I went out and I recruited 72 people in 3 weeks' time. That has now grown. Actually, this morning before I came, I checked how many people I've got. The team is now grown to 54,000 people. When I joined, like I say, I was in a bad spot. I just lost my car. I was driving a borrowed, first a borrowed Uno, and then a borrowed Corsa. And I then, also I was on the verge of losing my house. But I don't care anymore. Because, I don't know, some of you saw my video that I did in January. I withdrew R1 million. And last week I did another R1 million. And so, the practice hasn't been done yet because I'm busy working on running just the video. You'll see that soon. But Triple M has changed my life. It's changed so many of my friends' lives. It's changed more, all the team members that is part of Triple M changed their lives. This is the only business network marketing since 1998. This is the first community, business, opportunity, call it what you want. It's the first thing that actually works, where everybody gets paid, where everybody's lives are changed. And believe in it, because, yeah, it's just amazing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ben.
it's at this point that I'd like to actually hand it right back to Werner after I've said thank you to everybody who's contributed today. To Werner for the t-shirts and caps. I'm going to forget people. Tia and them who helped organise with the cakes and things. Johnny with the presentation and placing me on stage in a tight spot. I don't like presenting, remember. But I'd like to hand over to Werner to lead the celebrations, which I think is one of the main reasons we're here. Thank you very much.
Basically, we actually want to say thank you to Mr. Sergio Mavrodi for having the brainchild to actually do this, do what he's done. And thank you to Leonessa and Andrew for bringing us to South Africa, and thank you for Vusim Lambo for actually being the first person to sign up. If it wasn't for those people, we wouldn't have had this opportunity in South Africa. And the 18th of February was Triple M's anniversary for being, well, when it started in South Africa. They started in 18 February 2015, and we are basically celebrating the first year.
2015. It's been an absolutely amazing ride. Initially just started very small with 500 Rand just to see if it would work, and of course it did. As we know, everybody in Triple M gets paid. So ever since then I've been making more contributions. I've signed up a lot of people, and through those contributions and my own, I'm in a position right now where I could quite comfortably take 40,000 Rand from the system, but of course while it's in the system it's growing.
Hi there, I'm Tia and I'm one of the Triple M guiders. So today we celebrated the first anniversary of Triple M in South Africa here at the Barnyard Theatre at Rivonia. I think we learned quite a lot, fed the people a lot of cake. Triple M truly changed my life in the past 7.5 months, where I went from earning nothing to where I'm earning about 15,000 Rand per week now. This lovely lady next to me is Joyce. She is part of my team and she's also working very hard to improve people's lives. Joyce, you want to say something? And then we need to say thank you to Mr. Sergei Mavrodi for this awesome system and community that he created.
And me too, I'm very happy. Thank you very much, Tia, to change everything we talk for us. Oh, I'm so happy. Happy, Tia.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Hello Mavrodians. My name is Amy Rose Manheimer, and I joined Triple M in December 2015. I was invited to a talent showcase in Orlando, Florida, USA in July 2016. So seeing that I needed to raise a lot of money, I decided to join MMM. And already I've saved money to help contribute towards my trip. I'm so thankful, and just thank you to Sergei Mavrodi for this amazing system. He is an absolute genius. Thank you. We can change the world together.
Well, today I think we had an awesome celebration day for MMM in South Africa. Thanks to Werner, we've got a business in South Africa that's exploding. And I'm happy to say that we have at least 400 odd people here today. And we had celebrations, we had cake, we had a presentation, people asking questions. And it sounds like we are going to take the country and we're going to create a storm. So thanks to Werner and all the effort and time and money he put in to make it happen, all the people that made to play their parts to make it happen. I'm very happy. Thanks for Tia and everybody that brought their parts. And I'm looking forward to next one. If we get it right, next one we do will be a countrywide event all in one day. Wouldn't that be awesome? So if you're not part of MMM yet, good time to start considering it, because you will be. It's just a matter of when your life will start changing for the better because of it. Awesome. Happy birthday, MMM. Now we're going for the second birthday with an excess of 50 million people in South Africa.
I just want to say to the people out there, the next birthday is going to be even better, even bigger. We're taking the whole country by storm soon.
Yes.
Thanks.